Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Good morning, everybody. Well, by the time you listen to this, it's probably evening. So good evening, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. I want to talk about Christmas specials. So Love and Marriage Huntsville decided to have a Christmas special, which I watched. And I wanted to give you guys some, little bit of tea that I got from there. I will say the whole Christmas special was probably a lot better than the whole season has been, because this season has been drier than dry paint. So, in a way, this is the most fun that the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast has had in a while. That being said, I will say they could have kept that one in drafts, like the whole season. It did not give much. The part that I really enjoyed, I would say, is the part of Marceau with the ugly sweater contest. He was given he walks in like a baddie with some hips. Like, he was definitely doing his thing when it comes to winning the sweater contest. I will say there was a lot of comments about balls and stuff, which I was like, okay, but it was very raunchy. It's not exactly something you'd expect to watch on like daytime TV. So I don't know about that one. But yeah, like, it was, all in all, I think if I had to rate it, I would probably give it a 6. I definitely think that in terms of the outfits, a lot of certain people could have come even better. I think Tisha looks like she didn't even put any effort. She just looks like she just slapped on a white short dress that she had in the house and put on some red lipstick, and that was the end of it. Oh my honey, you could not have tried a little bit better? Now, I will give credit where credit is due, and I will say Destiny looked lovely. I may have not been a huge fan of her makeup because I feel like it slightly washes her out. But I think the outfit was really good. I liked the spin on Christmas. I feel like for Christmas, a lot of people feel like they have to wear red or green. And so I appreciate people that don't do that, because I feel like it's like go against the grain a little bit sometimes, right? It's not every time you want to go up to a Christmas party looking like everybody else. Luckily, I guess not a lot of people. I think Martell wore green and Nell wore red and Trish wore red. With Trish's dress, I personally felt that it just looks like a basic red dress. Yeah, it's very much like on brand for like holiday dresses and stuff. But if I was going to be on TV, I would not be wearing that dress. I would probably do a little bit more and put in a little bit more effort. But then I guess we don't think about Trish as the fashion girly anyway. I don't think any of them on the show are particularly fashion girlies. I will say Miss Nell looked cute in the face. I don't really like her dress, but I think she looks gorgeous. Like, Nell is a beautiful woman. Face was given what face needs to give. So I was absolutely here for that. Now, some of the bits that really got me, and I want to talk about that really quickly, was there was a point where, so one of the games that they were playing is like a question, and the other partner will answer, or they both would answer, right? Essentially, right, one of the questions was, who is likely to get caught out telling half-truths? And it was very funny that guess who Destiny picked? And guess who Martell picked? Not them calling each other for being the ones that are likely to tell half-truths. And I thought it was very interesting that Martell chose Destiny and Destiny chose Martell. Let's think about that for a second. They are both right. You don't think about it for a second. They are both right, because we can see from the different experiences they have given us on the show that they are not truthful. They're not transparent. I think for the longest time, we're trying to even get Destiny to show anything about her life. And then it's like she says something, but a lot more is missing. Or with the G situation, which was obviously a lie, because how are you still chilling with the person and calling one of the parties in the said arrangement your bestie when in real fact you believe that they were trying to GR you, right? You guys know what I mean. I'm not gonna say this is YouTube. It sort of almost rings with Zoom, right? So like, absolutely, yes, they're right. That is definitely an untruth. And so it's like you take something that is so honest and then you pervert it, right? And then you also think Martell is so quick to be like, oh, you were cheating on me. But then think about it. When asked about the cheating so-called situation, he then says, well, you'd go to the hotel for some time to just say you want to clear your head. So how does that then lead to you saying that I'm cheating? But the way he would say you're cheating, like he knows this for sure. So we can see that they're both very dishonest people, in my opinion, right? So they're both right. Yes, they will get caught in lies and half truths, whatever you want to call it. So I definitely think they were right to pick each other. And they clearly know each other very well. They're both to not be trusted in any event. Now, guys, please hit that like button if you haven't already. Don't be stingy with the likes. Thank you so much, everybody. Now, this is another thing that gagged me. Carlos was asking the people about, oh, who do you think has the most exes? Guess who had the most exes in the Martell Destiny arrangement? You called it Destiny. Martell gagged me when Martell decided to take a freaking tally. Martell was there, 5 cross, or was it 4 cross? So that's 5-5. I'm like, dude, what in the hell is going on, sir? Why do you know all the exes that she has dated? Honestly, I initially thought they were talking about body count until I later heard Carlos say about the exes. I was like, oh, okay. Because I was thinking, like, why would Martell know the body count? But when I listened again, I realized it wasn't about the body count. It was just about how many exes. So it turns out Martell does not have that many exes. I'm not surprised because it sounds like he was stuck on was married and then and also bear in mind that he was married at a young age, right? So I'm not necessarily surprised that he didn't have many exes. He probably doesn't count other I guess situations as exes, which I guess is fair enough because you didn't officially date. And then, yeah, but I just thought that was very, very interesting that it was like they were out here, Martell was out here with the tally. I'm like, okay, sir, like, how do you have a whole list? And why do you remember the list? Martell, honey, like, don't you have other things to be doing? Martell is one of those people you can't even tell age to because they would be counting it for you. Imagine every time you call to be like, oh, this guy's taking me on a date. Martell is probably counting that as an ex. Like, honey, chill. But anyway, I thought that was hilarious. The other thing that I did notice was Kimmi looked bored out of her mind. She looks like she did not want to be there. She looks like, why am I here? There were points where the camera panned to her and she just looked out of it. She looks like she just did not want to be there at all. And I'm like, girl, I do not blame you, but I feel like maybe the whole show should be it. As opposed to like you just not wanting to be here because this is the most fun you guys have had together. Because as far as what we've been seeing, this is the most fun the show has been this season. So yeah, I would think you would be in a better mood, but maybe who knows what happened between her and Maurice before they got there, or maybe the lady is just tired because sometimes you'd be out here, especially you don't know how long it took to even film that episode. It could have taken hours to film that episode. So who knows, maybe that's what that was. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, she definitely looked like she did not want to be there at all. The part that really gagged me, I wanted to throw up in my mouth, was when they made Kimmi and Maurice kiss under the mistletoe. I was like, oh my gosh, why would you subject us to this nonsense? And I know they know what they were doing with that because of all the couples on the show. You mean to tell me you had to make Kimmi and Maurice kiss, and those are the only people you placed in the episode. I'm like, why not Chris and Nell, right? They've been married the longest. Why not Chris and Nell? Like, it was just very, very disgusting to watch. It was slimy looking. Like, it got to a point like I had to like just look away because I was like, yeah, there is no way I'm expected to be watching these people with their sloppy a kiss. It's like, what are we doing over here? It was too much for me. I had the stang face the whole time. Like, I had a stang face and I looked away because I was like, ew, this ain't it. Like, why did you have to subject us to that? You couldn't even put a trigger warning before. But anyway, I was not here for that at all. I looked at the screen, I said that. But the ugly sweater contest, I was having a ball. Like, the guys were doing their little fashion show and the parade. I would say in terms of the fashion show, Maurice did okay. Maurice had a bit of personality. Chris gave us a little shimmy, a little dance. Marcel has clearly been waiting for his opportunity, honey. You could tell he was ready for his moment. He had planned it. He made sure the balls in the sweater wasn't coming up until it came out, and then he unleashed the balls. And the placement of the balls were very, very weird. It was definitely given he was trying to be suggestive. The whole thing was raunchy AF, I'm not gonna lie, because it was then over there flinging the balls in Tisha's face. I was just like, I don't know if this is appropriate for daytime TV, but I think it was just entertaining the way, like, in general, it looks like everybody was having fun and clapping and enjoying themselves. It was definitely giving Christmas After Dark, because there in no way that is a regular Christmas special event. It's definitely Christmas After Dark for real. When I say that they shouldn't have let Martell come out after Marceau, because Martell gave nothing. He did not give anything. It was so embarrassing. It's like the rest at least put on a little bit of a show. Martell did not even try. Martell came out like a princess and did not even do anything else. I was like, dude, look at all this excitement the other people have given us. They gave us a little bit of a show. Why not give a show? And I think if they had at least put Martell at the start or right after Ken, it would have been okay. But it was so obvious that it was so flat because it was placed right after Marceau. So it's like, even the way it just felt like Carlos was like, yeah, go see it. Like, because it was like, what did you had one opportunity, honey. But yeah, they should have known Martell was not going to bring it. But it's funny because the intro that Carlos gave, it was given, Carlos really thought Martell was going to bring it, and he didn't. I would say all in all, I would probably rate it a 6. Yeah, maybe a 6, maybe a 6.5 if I'm being very generous. I think it was good to see the people smiling and having fun and stuff. I will say that it was their best episode so far. Like, all of the episodes previously, I've been giving maybe a 1 or 3 this season because it has just been so dry, not entertaining at all. I would say also there's some people that just don't seem to have much of a personality. Like I say, Ken and Trisha are so boring. Like, I really don't know how and why they were casted, I guess. I think that I suspect that maybe the reason they were cast was because, or casted. The reason they decided to cast them was because Martell was allegedly or had allegedly something with Trisha. So or they knew that it would be suggestive enough that something was happening between them or happened between them in the past, and maybe that's why they casted them. But in actual honesty, there is no personality. I think with Marceau and Tisha, Marceau has a lot of personality. Tisha is annoying. If you think about Kimmi and Maurice, Kimmi seems to have a bit of personality, so she's not literally she is dry, but she's not as dry on Trisha and Ken. And if you think about Nell and Chris, Neil definitely has a lot of personality for the both of them, so I think that that generally works as well. Martell is a loose cannon, so I guess not much of a personality, but a loose cannon already brings a lot of drama, or can bring a lot of drama to the show, which is obvious because of the interactions between Martell and the Scots. Um, then Destiny, I would say Destiny is also like a loose cannon, like Martell, maybe slightly less loose this season. She seems to be in a slightly different place. So I don't know, maybe things are better in her life or whatever, and she is just mentally more in a chill space. Whatever the case may be, I think that this was their best episode this season. And yeah, but Ken and Trish, honey, I do not know what it is. I feel like your whole personality is gym. And don't get me wrong, as someone who goes to the gym, I be going to the gym 4 days a week, honey. I love the gym. I'm about to go on holiday today, and I was thinking about the fact that I really wanted to find a way to get to the gym. But then I also said to myself, girl, you're still healing from an injury. You need to rest, honey. You do not need to be going to no gym. But even despite that, my mind, I'm planning to go to the gym. But I'm like, okay, even if I don't go to the gym, at least I'm going to be on that treadmill a little bit, right? But I felt like Trish and Ken's personality is all gym. That is it. They do not have it's not giving any fun side, anything remotely that anybody can be like, oh, I relate to that. So they're so dry, and I just don't get it. So I really don't get who chose them to be on the show, but I don't think they did a very good job on that. But I'll let you guys decide in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button, and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post or go live. And I'll speak to you guys in the chat. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.